It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad. Because you are one of the biggest Marvel fans that I know. And what is it about this franchise that really entices you? Do you wish that you were one of these superheroes?
Oh, of course, everyone does.
Who do you want to be? Who do you think you are?
Man, I mean, it was like Hulk for like the longest time, but now it's like probably, as I've gotten
more mature.
Yeah, it's like
gotten older.
I probably don't want to be walking around like green and gigantic and shirtless and rageful all the time.
Okay, so you're thinking in the literal sense you wouldn't want to be Hulk. I don't know if anyone would literally want to be Hulk. That's
I
scary.
like literally wanted to be Hulk. Like,
well, you like the shirtless aspect.
Well, no, it's because
don't lie.
It's because you can ask Katie, but there are a lot of times where I see something that's far in the distance, or like I'm staring up at a tall building, and I'll be like, "Do you know what I'm thinking right now?"
She's like, "You want to be the Hulk and climb it?"
Well, the Hulk could just jump and be there.
True.
Like, yeah, in the comics, he could like jump across continents, and so yeah, there are a lot of times where I'm like we were hiking up Mount Diablo, and I was like, man, if I were the Hulk right now, like,
you just jump up
and be at the top of Mount Diablo.
But okay, so how about this? Let's meet in the middle, because I connect strongly, specifically to Smart Hulk. I want all of the benefits of being that buff and beefy, but also being able to control my emotions and my anger and wear a nice cardigan and glasses just like Smart Hulk.
The only reference that we have in the MCU to Smart Hulk is like basically Avengers Endgame, and
that's my only reference. I'm not a big comic book guy.
Okay.
Are you the type of person that watches every Marvel adjacent thing that comes out on Disney Plus?
I set boundaries. So my boundary is Netflix Marvel stuff that came out before we knew that before we knew Daredevil was canon. So I haven't watched like the Daredevil or the Luke Cage or the Punisher,
any of the
Jessica
Defenders,
Jones.
right?
Yeah, any of the I haven't watched because like that's a lot of commitment. And TV shows in general are a lot of commitment. I don't watch a lot of TV shows, but I love movies though. That's why
because movies are like one and done.
Yeah,
you dedicate an hour and a half. You get a beginning, middle, and end.
Yes,
but now we live in the day and age where we got to binge everything. Yeah. They give us one season all at once. And they expect for us, busy people, and busy people in our mid-20s, to just sit down and be like, yeah, I have 12 hours to spend.
Yeah.
And I could watch 12 episodes back to back.
You're asking me to practice self-control. And you're like,
it's not healthy, but it's so good.
Yeah, which is why Marvel is like cool, because they kind of took the continuity of TV shows.
Yeah.
But they put it in movies because like now it's like, whoa, these 22 films are connected.
Yes.
But like it was connected over a span of 9 years. So like
they changed the game.
Yeah.
Because like I think my issue with movies as opposed to TV shows is that there is, once it's done, and I'm gonna miss those characters unless there's a sequel. You don't have as much time to flesh out characters and their relationships. But now Marvel's changed the game. Because you could look at someone from the very first Avengers and see them at the very end of the fourth Avengers film and be like, "Oh my God, you've changed so much."
Yep.
Right? I've watched 12 hours of you.
Yeah.
And like you are a changed person.
Yeah, and you feel like you have a relationship with that person, honestly. Like you've been through a journey with that person.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you feel that way with TV show? Like,
yes.
Okay.
Let's say like Breaking Bad, for instance. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
What are you doing with your life?
Again, commitment. Like too late in the game.
Issues.
How many seasons is that?
That's 5 seasons.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of TV.
Maybe
but it's
if you
good
had
TV.
asked me when it came out, I can get addicted to movies, TV very easily. So like, I can't do that.
So you saw a glimpse of it, and you weren't enticed at all?
I mean, I've also gone through it once. The Flash. Which I can objectively look at The Flash and be like, this is a terrible TV show.
Well, wasn't it on the CW?
Yes.
Anything that comes up on the CW.
Is it all bad?
Just feels like it's low budget. Just feels like, the crew's not trying as hard.
They're
not getting paid as much.
It's so bad.
It's not like they really care about the set that much. And like, it seems like they take every first take that they take is the take.
Literally is like, and the storyline is always the same. I'm sorry, you have someone with godlike superpowers.
Yeah.
Like super speed to the point where there's an episode in like season 3 called Flashpoint. Christian, have you seen all of it?
No, I've never seen The Flash.
There's an episode where he is literally moving so fast that the entire episode existed in the span of like an explosion, but the explosion hadn't even happened yet. It was like at the inception of the like the point that the explosion happened. That's the entire episode, all 43 minutes. It's like, if you can move so fast to where an explosion is happening that's about to kill the entire city,
true.
and you're deciding to take that whole episode to like run around and bring people into this like flash time, you bring people into your flash time, like, how do I stop this explosion? Oh, I don't know. I can't exist in this time. And then they freeze too. And then he has to go to someone else, and then he has to go to someone else, and then he has to travel back in time to ask somebody else how to, like, all of these things. And I'm like, so when you're fighting like a punching bad guy, like, couldn't you have just put him in hand? Like, why did
easily have done that?
Literally,
if
like,
you were that fast.
Yeah. So it's just, but every episode is him not being able to take down someone that he can obviously take down, and then going to his family, his dad or Iris or someone, being like, I can't do this, and then his dad or someone being like, yes you can. Do you know why? Because I believe in you. And then he goes and takes down the bad guy. And then he does that 20 times in a row, and then it's the second season.
My question is, why have you gotten so deep into this show?
I don't know.
That you over-scrutinize, and then it comes to like Breaking Bad. You're just like, I have commitment issues.
That's why. Like, that's what I mean, is that it's so bad, but I've watched all of it. And it's
You're
like
crazy.
5 seasons.
You are a crazy man.
Yeah, which is why
you've wasted time.
Yeah, exactly.
5 seasons of The Flash as opposed to 5 seasons of Breaking Bad.
Again, do you see the commonality between this and Marvel is that it's a superhero. It's a guy with abilities.
That's true.
I think that's it.
You just want to see guys with abilities.
Yeah, I just want to be able to run faster, like carry things or something.
Well, you're already a superhero. Aww. And before we get into that, I want to introduce you, our very special guest, to the baddies, to the listeners. So baddies, welcome to another episode of ICBTB's Highly Irrelevant. I'm your host, Christian Baltazar, and today I'm joined by a special guest, someone that I've known for years and that I love dearly, and I'm honored to be one of his groomsmen in his upcoming wedding. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Martin Lejano in the building. He is a music teacher. He is a trumpeter. He is a fantastic musician and a very buff man. That is actually, you look like the Filipino version of the Hulk. I think that you compete with him. If you could blush?
If I could blush.
I'm too brown, huh?
That's like such a nice thing. Katie would be like, yeah. Anyways, keep going. Yeah.
I mean, you and the Hulk, what you guys have in common is that you don't like shirts. Something the listeners should hear is that we have a background together in music. We are a part of an a cappella group that is currently on a hiatus. I'll put up some clips here.
For all the times that you made me feel small, I fell in love, now I feel nothing at all. It never felt so low when I was born. Let you break down my walls.
But it's you put together basically the it's like you were putting together the Avengers. It's like we had put together the Avengers. Like, we got different people of different skill sets.
I'm so giddy right now.
We're just like, okay, we're gonna find an alto who could do runs like a motherfucker. Well, we also have a female, a soprano with a high pitched voice with a lot of clarity. Check. Okay. Oh, we got a big dude with like a very deep voice. Okay. And he has a musical background? Fantastic. Sign him up. All right. We're going to get this chocolate man that could sing kind of high notes and like he has vast experience with karaoke. Sign him up. And there's you, the guy that arranges it and can beatbox, and you're musically inclined. Dude.
You just equated our singing group to the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I mean, we assembled, yes.
Andrew Garfield said that in No Way Home when Tom Holland was like, I'm not going to brag, but I was in the Avengers. And he was like, oh my God, that's great. What is that? You guys don't have the Avengers? What is that? Are you in a band? Are you in a band?
Are you in a band? Great. Sorry if you haven't seen No Way Home yet, but if you haven't, it's been months now and get your shit together.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's what I love the most in the world, and a reason why I think we love each other is because we connect on music. And it just blows my mind that like a series of sounds and put together in such a strategic fashion at a certain rhythm can really spark emotion.
I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, and we've been talking about this a little bit. Like I have to write a vow. I have to write some vows, and as I've been trying to figure out the words to say, mostly the things that come up are like melodies and lyrics. Like, and I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I think it's because like when words are failing, music tends to kind of fill that void. Music tends to speak for you when words fail. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a form of communication. I mean, like I feel music way more than I feel just words.
Mm-hmm.
And when you combine the two, then that's like the ultimate form of communication to someone that you love.
Yeah. I got a degree in ethnomusicology.
A lot of syllables.
It's studying music from around the world, and one of the first things that we learned in ethnomusicology was that like in some cultures around the world, they don't even have a word for music. Like we call music, and in some cultures they don't even have a word for it because it just exists. Like you just.
Wow.
I don't know how to explain. Like we don't talk about it's kind of like we don't talk about the fact that we breathe. It's like they don't talk about the fact that they're playing music at that moment. They're just playing music. Like it just
exists.
Yeah, it's just existing. And that's how intertwined into culture music is.
The fact that you don't have to speak the same language, it's like the whole cliche thing of just like a smile is universal, laughter is universal, music is universal. Even though there are subcategories and subgenres, the fact that we could all connect on it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like so cool that you can go to another country where right outside the venue, you were like you couldn't talk to people because you don't speak the same language as them. But the moment you go into the venue and you're listening to the music, you're all having the same experience. You're like, because the sound is speaking to you. Yeah, no, music is a hell of a thing.
How'd you get into music? I don't know if I've ever asked you like what your first musical experience was.
That is,
and I think it's like a big part of us, right? And so that should be like a memory that we keep near and dear.
I don't know. There are like some things that come to mind. I mean, I picked up trumpet in the 4th grade.
And was that upon your own jurisdiction or like?
Yeah, because my sisters had played instruments, and I thought that playing an instrument looked really cool. And why did I pick trumpet? It was because that was the one that looked like what boys play. I don't know, like, or like I went to the Walnut Festival.
Trumpet is masculine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna play that.
Yeah, I think I went to the Walnut Festival, and I saw Concord High's marching band, and there was a trumpet soloist, and I was like, I want to be
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah,
that's fucking dope.
So yeah, I mean,
and so you stuck with it the entire time.
Yeah.
Until like now, dude, you still play your trumpet, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that is definitely cool. Cause I see like being a music teacher now, it's a lot of, I think that, initial attraction to an instrument is important. And I think kids should like feed into that initially, because when we do like instrument petting zoos for 4th and 5th graders who are picking up an instrument, and we let them hear every single instrument.
Whoa.
And the way that the teacher describes it, the elementary teacher is like, hey, if you like the way this sounds, then maybe this is the instrument for you. Like kids should kind of be drawn to the sound, and it's crazy how it works, because like they're drawn to the sound, and then it just so happens that we tend to have a pretty balanced instrumentation in elementary school, and like over time in middle school and in high school, like maybe there's some kids that switch a little bit here and there, and that's for the sake of like one, like maybe they tried out the initial instrument and they're moving on to something else, and then 2, it's like we're trying to get the instrumentation right for the ensembles as we're going up to the higher levels. But yeah, ultimately that attraction to the sound is super important, and I think it plays a big role in what instrument they end up playing later on, and that's why, yeah, I think I liked the sound of the trumpet, and
gravitated toward
and
that.
yeah, 8-9-year-old Martin made a pretty good choice, because still today I like the sound of trumpets. When there's a band, like I'll listen to all of them, but if a trumpet starts taking a solo or something, like my interest is piqued more. Yeah. Like if I hear a trumpet, like yeah, I'm just genuinely more curious about the trumpet than I am about other instruments.
I love that, and I'm like jealous that you're able to like stick through with one instrument, because like in elementary school, I wanted to be a part of the music program. I grew up singing, which like a lot of my listeners do know. And then in the 4th grade, the orchestra was available, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play the violin.
Yeah,
violin, really difficult, really hard. Was not good at it. Mom spent like $300 on a nice violin. Barely played it. And it was just like, okay, I have all the time in the world to get really good at the violin. And then I moved middle schools. I moved from Pittsburgh to like Benicia. I was just like, dope. All right. Now I'm going to play violin. Like, where's the orchestra? And then like the band instructor was just like, oh, we don't have an orchestra, boy. They're just like, you're going to play the saxophone. I'm like, okay, let me just switch gears real quick. And I love the saxophone.
Yeah,
Saxophone's sexy, right? It's like a good solo instrument, and like you could really play a good melody, and like the tone is nice. But I was like, okay, still not that good at the saxophone. I just moved here. I have all the time in the world, Christian. I have all the time in the world. Go to high school, join the marching band. Everyone's playing saxophone. And they're just like, we need more tubas. And like, no one's volunteering for tubas. And so like, I'm pretty sure in high school band was sizist, because I was a bigger dude.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, we're going to randomly pick and choose who has to give up their instrument so that they can play tuba. And so they got us lined up, right? Lined up outside.
Stop it.
I'm like, all right, I got chose. It was just like random. I thought it was random. I look around me. I'm like, oh, we're all big boys in here. We're all big motherfuckers in here. And yeah, it's our band instructor was just like, okay, now that you've been randomly chosen, I'm glad that you are willing to sacrifice what you played initially to play the tuba. Congratulations. Here's a sousaphone. And so I never got to like really stick to one instrument.
I did not. Damn, I didn't know that you played the violin and the saxophone.
Yeah.
You just played you played the string family, the woodwind family, the brass family.
I've been everywhere,
Yeah.
but I was not good at everything.
And then you ended up being a singer.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I've always been a singer throughout that.
Right,
So like that was
gotcha.
like my main thing.
Gotcha.
And I'm glad that I like joined band and like orchestra, because it taught me like some theory and some like, actual structure to what I'm doing with my voice.
Yeah.
So that part's cool.
Damn. Wow, you really been that is like a dude, that's I didn't do that. And I teach those instruments now, given like and I didn't do that. Like kudos to you, man. That's a lot of
But now you have to know to a certain extent. It takes a level of musical knowledge of like regardless of what the subject is, to be able to like know something so well to teach it to like someone else.
Yeah, I mean, so I teach high schoolers. So
Wow. Cheers to you,
dude. I remember when you came to we did a gig for the high school. I'd asked Love if you guys would be down to sing at like it was like a pancake breakfast. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
Back in 2017, and
We went to like a Huckleberries or something.
yeah, and you had it was, what was it? Applebee's.
Okay.
It was Applebee's, but before Applebee's like was open for the day, so that like we had all the band parents in there, and it was a fundraiser and everything. And then we brought Love as like the headliner. Like, whoa, this Miss Lejano's like singing group, so cool. And we were waiting to get ready to perform, and I'm so sorry. There are like nipples, like looking at. Are those nipples?
Yeah, those are nipples.
Sorry.
Shout out to my artwork in my background. Shout out to my friend and coworker Val. She's an artist, and she gifted me those. Just nude, artsy women in the studio.
Got you. Cool. No, it's wonderful. Yeah, no, it looks really good. I
know naked women.
I feel
Wonderful.
I feel so like childish at the fact that like I haven't appreciated any other part. I'm fixated on the nipples. I'm sorry.
It's your biology, dude. It's because that literally gave us life. That's why we like boobs.
Wow.
Did you never think about that? You thought we just like boobs for the way it looks? Yes, I mean, yes, they're aesthetically pleasing, but like it's also because for survival. You're an interesting man. I don't understand why you're pondering so hard on this. Wow. What?
Dude, you're blowing my mind right now.
What? How am I blowing your mind?
Because you just said like nipples gave us life, which is why we like them so much.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like the free the nipple movement, like
I'm all
the
about
free the nipple movement is like trying to desexualize nipples so that like anyone who has boobs can be out in public and show their boobs, and that's not like a sexualized thing. But
Yeah.
but I'm not saying you're justifying our liking for boobies, but you're giving like more of like a biological reasoning as to like why it exists, like far beyond like just like sex. Like I want a titty, like sorry,
I want a titty fuck.
sorry.
Okay, interesting. Interesting that it just
Sorry.
like jumped from sex
Sorry.
straight to titty fuck.
Sorry. Yeah,
You're a teacher?
Dude, I hope no students watch this. Damn, they gave us life, so that's why we like them so much. No, but like as a baby, like we looked at boobies as like, oh my god, like that's my
Yes.
food source. Yeah,
Exactly.
no, that's why I was just thinking about like, yeah, being an infant and the way that we looked at boobs then, and how that's just continued to pass on, and now we're like late 20s. Like,
Well, think about it. Like, you know, our mother's teat gave us life, and what we're looking for in a compatible partner that we want to spread our seed with, right, is someone that could give life, nurture life. And so that's why we're looking for that. It's this weird Oedipus thing. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Oedipus complex.
can you refresh me?
So there was this psychologist. His name was Sigmund Freud. And he was a very controversial psychologist, and he related a lot of like how our brain works. It's sexually is because what we're looking for is someone that resembles our mother, right?
Yeah.
So that's like one of the ideologies, right? And so maybe subconsciously we're looking for a compatible mate that represents a lot of the traits that our mother, because our mother took care of us. We are alive right now because of our mothers. We are looking for a mate that could be like our mothers, to be the mother of our future children, to make sure that they survive, type of thing. So sometimes like you'll see like people dating other people, and just, you know, what they're really looking for is just like another version of their mom. And it's weird. It's not necessarily tried and true. It's a trend. These are all just controversial.
Do you think this is why, like, who knows how long the human race has existed, but do you think this is why, like, for as long as we've existed, I'm so surprised that, are you full Filipino?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as full Filipino as you can get.
Yeah, me too. So, like, this probably contributes to the fact of, like, are you serious? Like, our dad or our dad's dad or our dad's dad's dad or our dad, like, never fell for anyone other than a Filipino woman. But it's because his mom was Filipino, like, subconsciously.
I mean, that could be a factor.
Also,
I mean,
environment. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
It's the geography. It's just like, I mean, my parents were I mean, they did meet in America. I mean, they could have met people of other nationalities. However, like prior to that, like our ancestors, they just resided in the Philippines, stayed in the Philippines for generations and generations.
Yeah.
We now are living in a time where America is just so diverse, and where society doesn't give a fuck who you mate with.
Yeah.
You know, you could be a white man with a black woman, a black man with a white woman, an Asian man with a white woman, and so on and so forth.
That's
right?
only like 1968.
Yeah, dude.
Like that. This is like pretty recent.
Jim
like,
Crow stuff was not too long ago.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
like,
the fact that like we've surpassed that in less than a century, with still racism still exists, man. You know,
Right,
I mean,
right.
like I was just having this conversation, and it's so sad that, but it says that Asian men are at the bottom of the dating hierarchy. Like when it comes to like, you know, Latino men, white men, black men, Asian men are viewed by women. Let's talk about just like heterosexuality in general. They are the ones that like generally will be looked past because we have the worst stereotypes.
Whoa, where are you getting this information? Is this like was this a survey or something?
There's statistics, there's surveys out there, and like I got this from a conversation, so it's still like third hand, right? But he got it from like studying surveys and whatnot. But isn't that why? I mean, like think about it. You think of like an Asian man standing next to a big black man, and a girl is choosing between the two. She's gonna be like, Asian guy has a small penis.
Damn.
Sad, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna compete with the big black man. He probably does have a bigger penis than I do, but I don't know. I would like to think that like my personality can satisfy you.
Dude, we getting pussy with our personality.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to Lil Dicky.
Yeah. Does he say that?
Yeah. I mean, his name's also Lil Dicky.
Love it. His name is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, do you connect with any of this? Did you have difficulty with being an Asian man and like having to try to like enter the dating game?
Dude, when I was in
I definitely have.
When I was in second grade, I had a crush on a girl, white girl, and yeah, I had a crush on a girl, and then someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, like, this girl likes you, blah blah blah." Like, oh my god, you got like, and I was like, "No, I like, we can't be together. Look, like
You said that.
I straight up said that at like 8
You're
years old.
kidding me.
Yeah,
You
like,
pointed at your skin and then pointed at her.
Like,
Whoa. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Like, you just said that. Like, have you ever had that problem? And that popped in my head. I was like, yeah, I said that. I like cried at night sometimes thinking, wait, whoa, we're like going way far back. My bad.
No. I'm very interested.
I am too. Like, I don't know why that's just like when you said like, have you ever, like, that's what popped up was like that experience of like pointing at my skin and her skin, and then like laying in bed it was a twin day. It was a twin day, and my best friends in second grade were two white boys, and like I was crying the night before because like I was like, no one's gonna think we're twins. Oh, because shit. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird.
Is that weird, or is that just?
I wonder why that happened.
That is like so emotionally and societally self-aware at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because no kid is thinking that, right?
I hope
kids
not.
probably broadly think like, you look different than me and I look different than you, right? But you're to be crying at night thinking about like, oh, we're never gonna I can't be twins with anyone unless they're the same skin color as me.
Yeah.
I mean, did you deal with like racism as a kid? You grew up here. You grew up in Concord, right?
It's knowing what you know now as an adult is like it's so hard to like in retrospect think about like, did I do it? And like if I did, I probably just brush it off, or I probably didn't think anything of it.
It's easy to brush it off. I mean, especially like when you're a kid and you don't have a full grasp on like the weight of someone else's scrutiny or like microaggressions.
Yes, exactly. But I think like in terms of, you just said microaggressions. Like, I think my niece, who's 11 years old, probably knows more about microaggressions than I knew, like my 11-year-old self, just because I think it's more talked about now.
Well, I mean, it's
Like-
it's the, and this keeps coming up on the podcast, is it's woke culture. Like the younger generation, we are teaching them, we are trying to go in the direction of PC culture so strongly
Yeah.
that like the younger and younger the generation is, the more and more introduced they are to like being sensitive and being more woke, and
They know what non-binary means.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they know. They're like very respectful of like LGBTQ plus queer, like just like phrasing of like he, she, they, like they. And I'm like, I was like, I don't think I learned how to speak like this until college. Like, and you're 10 years old, 11 years, like, yeah,
Think about the older generation, specifically Filipinos.
yeah.
We in Tagalog, in our dialect, there's no he, she, there's no they, there's just siya is what it is. Like, nasan siya is where is he or she.
Yeah.
Siya is a universal term,
Yeah.
which I think is like, way to go. We got it on the fucking head. Like, we don't have to deal with like pronouns and getting it wrong in the Tagalog culture. But on the other end, now since they are engraved in their subconscious, like in their, that's why it's so hard. Like, have you ever like dealt with your mom like messing up with her, him, she, they? Because
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they're
Definitely.
translating it in real time.
Right.
Because English is their second
Yeah.
language. They're translating in real time. Like, what is him, hey? There's no word for it
Yeah.
in Tagalog.
Yeah.
It's just sha.
No, I think you just explained that to me, because I've caught my parents saying like he when they meant she, vice versa, but like I don't speak Tagalog, so I didn't have that context. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you glad to have are you glad to be a millennial?
I just recently had a conversation with my mom where she was just like, something. This happens. I don't know if you have these conversations with your parents where like I'm just challenging them and challenging my mom on any given topic, and then she's just like, "Abba, just respect your elders," and that's like one idea of like, well, I get respect,
Yeah.
but should I respect you if what you're saying is like flawed, or what if you're saying is like, what if what you're saying is disrespectful? Like like we shouldn't just end the argument at like, but I'm older than you, so I win. Yeah, like, yeah.
Are we allowed to respectfully disagree in cultures like this that teach respecting your elders?
I think
right?
50 years ago the answer was no.
No, you're not allowed to talk
Yeah.
back. My mom constantly says like, why do you talk to me like that? Do you realize like how I used to talk to your nanay and tatay? There's no questions asked. You do what they tell you to do. But then I'm like talking to them about like, you know, what goes on in the news, and it's not necessarily them having malintent with their beliefs.
Never. No. Yeah.
They're just
True.
traditional. They're just old fashioned, and
Yeah.
you're just trying to be like, yo, like, Ma, you can't say this anymore, Mom. You can't say
We're
that
just
joke,
asking
Dad.
questions now. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just trying to make them question. And I'm sure like and when we're in that situation, I always go to like, yo, in 30 years, is my kid gonna be asking me this? Like, and I'm gonna be in their shoes being like, shit, I know nothing. Like, I remember in high school, middle school, early high school, there was a point where I had to like be like, Dad said something along the lines of like, gay is not okay. And me and my sisters were like, yo, Dad, like that's not okay that you're saying that. Like, there's nothing wrong with someone saying they're gay. And like, and my dad had to chew on, and my dad's like totally cool now, which like learning is great. Like, but, yeah, that was like a turning point. That was a turning point in just his perception of like, oh, like, yeah, dude can wear a dress. Yeah. Dude can do can do whatever they want. Yeah. Which we grew up with that. That turning point. What is that going to be for us when we're 50 years old?
What is it for, right? Like,
Huh?
what I'm saying, you're saying, what is that turning point going to be for us? What's
Yeah.
going to be the subject matter that we're going to have to be in the
Yeah.
positions to learn?
Yeah.
Well, I'm already feeling turning points, dude.
Really?
With like, because we're millennials, and like I've had to learn. I mean, it wasn't until more recently that we had to be more sensitive and aware of like pronouns and whatnot. And even though I don't have any malintent, like it's the wrong pronoun can slip.
Oh yeah.
And so,
totally.
like right there, like you just apologize, you readjust, you learn, you grow, and you continue, right?
Yeah.
So I'm constantly learning from like the younger generation.
Yeah.
Damn, I sound old. How to just adjust, but
Yeah.
allow me to have that adjustment period, because I'm just human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the brain is a fucked up thing, and my subconscious will overpower my overpower everything.
Yeah,
You know?
I feel it. And you said that you're learning from the younger generation, which I am too at times. And then there are also times where I'm like, there are times where I learn from them. I'm like, okay, I can see where you're at. And there are other times where I'm like, yeah, I don't understand this at all, because that pancake breakfast
Yeah.
at Applebee's, I remember when
That's
we were
what we were
waiting,
trying to get to, yeah.
we were waiting to get ready to perform, and I don't know, some of the kids were just like talking in the back, saying their jokes to one another or something like that, and you come up to me and whisper, "You're fucking around this all the time." These little bitches aren't even funny at
Dude,
all.
it's so-
like you just like
I sound
totally-
mean.
You blew my mind there, because I just exist around them. I just
Yeah.
thought, I was just like, that's how they talk. But then but coming from someone who is like not exposed to this all the time, and then your only reference point is when we were in high school, like, yeah, it is like a lot different. It just, the talking, the banter is different.
The humor's different.
And you were like, this is not funny.
All
This
right.
is not funny.
Two things. Thing number one, I'm not that mean. I'm like, comedy's comedy. It's subjective. If you want to talk about whatever you want in your adolescent years, do it. I'm not your audience member. Don't worry about me. Thing number two, I'm entitled to my own opinion. They weren't funny, man. They just, whatever they were talking about, busting each other's balls and like whatnot. I was just like, all right, if that makes you happy, like I'd rather not stand here and be surrounded by you children for like, you know, an elongated period of time.
But as someone who, like, you know, you kind of, you're a performer, you're an entertainer, you know the theory behind it as well, because of the various mediums that you've performed through. I asked you once, I told you about this kid Triangle in my program. So we just went through distance learning,
Yeah.
right? And in distance learning, we had to be on motherfucking Zoom, never again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so all the kids were like in their boxes, and yeah, that was a crappy time. But yeah, you wake up, you open the laptop, and then you're in class. And this kid named Triangle,
Love it.
every single day, he showed up to Zoom. Every single class, 7 periods, he showed up to Zoom in a banana costume.
Yep.
Triangle in a banana costume showed up to Zoom every single day without fail, except the one day where he didn't show up. Do you remember which day?
I
One
forget.
day that he
What
didn't
was
show
it?
up. Halloween. That's
Beautiful.
the one day he didn't.
That's
She
what
just
this
dressed
is.
as a normal kid. You told me that this was called an anti-joke, or like
It's an anti-joke. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of ish. Like,
or like a lot of the things that he would say of like, I don't know. There are just a lot of, okay, for example, I can never, hey, what's up, Triangle? The ceiling.
that's an anti-joke.
But like,
So
no,
literal.
there's not even a laugh. There's not even a chuckle. It's just like it
But
just
that's
it just
good.
engages in a stare.
Yes.
Like sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, Mr. Lejano, you want to know something funny?" Yeah, what's up, Triangle? Like nothing will be said that's funny. Nothing, like he'll be like, "I'm eating a sandwich," and then we'll just stare at each other. And
Is this now in person?
And
what
then
he says?
everyone's like, "Yeah." Everyone's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, that's funny." Like he will say, "Yeah, that's
Confident.
funny."
Wow.
And I'm like, I didn't talk like this when I was in high school. So it's
different.
yeah.
I mean, like humor's subjective. That's a very specific, like niche.
Oh,
type
maybe
of
that's
humor.
him.
That's him.
Or is that like a high, like the high school, or maybe like band kid high school in 2022? Maybe that's
Whatever it is, I can't categorize.
Yeah,
it. I'm
okay.
not. I don't. Even though I know you have some theory behind comedy, I'm still a dumb fucking boy, and if that makes him laugh, like, because what he's doing is just like, yeah, sure, we could categorize like, what's up, the ceiling, that's an anti-joke, literal, very literal jokes, analogous to like, what did Batman say to Robin when they were about to get in the Batmobile? Get in the Batmobile, and that's
That's so stupid.
yeah, or just stuff like what's green with 4 wheels? Grass. I lied about the wheels.
That's exactly, yeah.
Those are anti-jokes. Those are
Gotcha.
triangles jokes, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's exactly trying
So
to
him, like, I love the commitment to the banana suit. Commitment is a huge part of comedy.
I think that's, yeah.
And then
just the commitment.
on Halloween, if Halloween was the one day he didn't show up in costume, that's the best fucking joke out there. That is high tier comedy. That is so funny. The commitment to like 364 days out of the year.
Yeah.
You know, you will come up in a banana costume and just like, oh, it's Halloween, I'm gonna dress up normally.
Yeah.
You ask me a lot of questions about like comedy because I think you're fascinated by the structure of it. Very similarly to like how I'm always using there's always this like unspoken connection between comedy and music. A lot of comedians want to be musicians and performers, and a lot of performers and musicians want to be comedians. Right?
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
dude. Do you know T.I.?
Yeah.
T.I. recently got into stand-up.
No way.
He got booed off stage.
Dude, T.I. was an Ant-Man.
Was he?
Oh, did you not know? Yeah, T.I.
haven't
was
seen Ant-Man, no.
And Ant-Man is like definitely the funny category of Marvel movies.
So
and,
I've heard.
And he did a pretty good job. He's like one of the minor characters, but he does like an okay job. I don't know how off script he's going with it, but he's doing all right in there. That's hella funny that he got booed off stage.
Booed off
though.
stage, dude. Just because you are successful in one facet of the industry does not make you like.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the type of guy now. He's just like went straight from like rapping to like headlining comedy shows. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
like work for it. You know. However, what I was trying to say is that I like that you asked me questions about like comedy and the theory behind it, because like it's very similar to music. How like music is universal, comedy is universal, right?
Yeah.
However, there's a science to everything, dude. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like music chords make sense because there's numbers behind it. There's
Yep.
spaces in between
Yeah.
it, and like it makes sense. And there's patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same with comedy, dude. It's all patterns.
I don't know about that, but I mean, I guess because I'm talking on the like with music, when you were saying, yeah, there are chords, there are patterns. Like, yep. Same with comedy. I was like, nope, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's different for me because like I know some music theory.
Yeah, you know,
not
both,
to
yeah.
your extent, but like comedy, it's not like you've ever taken a comedy class.
No,
I mean, like
I just admire people so much. Like, even just like, you know, I admire someone on stage who can make a room full of people laugh. But even just in conversation, like what I appreciate about like us talking, or when I see you talking to people, is that like just the quick, like the quips.
Oh,
the
thank
quips
you.
of just like when something's said, like you just know what to say right away, and it also happens to be funny too. I'm like, how did that happen?
It's all a facade, and what I mean by that sounds sad, right? I assure you, it's not sad. The confidence, it's like you have to say it with confidence. It's the commitment. It's part of the comedy.
Yeah.
But
Okay, yeah.
all comedy it's all risk, dude. I don't know if what I'm gonna say is gonna make the person laugh. It just happens to make the person laugh.
I don't know.
And it's reading the
Yeah.
room, and it's the practice of like, okay, what kind of humor is general enough to like whoever I'm talking to that it won't offend them. It's referencing something that we both know, right? And then like it happens to work out.
You're saying the risk, but I'm trying to reflect on if there's any been like with you or with other people who I feel have this same gift of like just being able to quip and have fun and be sarcastic and like and make people laugh. I'm trying to think like I don't know if I've ever seen you or them fall flat, like you said.
Oh, you've never seen like me bomb.
I don't think so.
Good, let's keep it that way.
Okay.
It happens, dude. I mean, like the thing about like candid conversation though is that you don't always have to be even though you're the funny guy, you don't always have to be funny.
And maybe I'm not being like critical like at every moment. I have seen stand-up comedians bomb, but I think it's because as an audience member, my expectation is that
Exactly.
yeah.
Which is why improv is I hold near and dear to my heart, because it is the most forgiving form of comedy.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Along with like, a comedy podcast, because it's all candid. With improv, like the audience is in on the joke that we are making this up on the spot, so there's a lot of forgivability.
Right.
As opposed to a
right.
stand-up set, that is a polished set that like they expect for you to have worked on prior to getting up on stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to like music. When you're performing, when it's a set song, let's say it's not a jazz song.
Yeah, like classical musicians versus jazz musicians.
Classical is so rigid, right?
Yeah, yeah. And if you played one note out of tune, people are like not okay with that.
But let's take jazz. You bend the fucking note, dude. You could bend the note. Oh, it's just like it's a few cents flat. It's like kind of flat. Like that's part of like the fucking thing,
And
right?
Miles Davis says if you hit a wrong note, like, dude, it's okay. It's the next note that makes that. Like you can play as many. You can play as many wrong. There's no. I don't know. There's not like over any chord I could justify about any note that you like. Jacob Collier says that and every single note harmonizes with every single chord. If you really think like if you extrapolate it enough, it really does.
There's a way to associate.
You could put a major third on a minor chord and you can justify it. Like you can justify. Yeah, it depends on the context. What came before it and what came after it. Like that's it. Would really
See, with that's jazz is basically the improv of comedy. It's literally there's improvisation in jazz, and it's risk. Comedy is risk. Jazz is risk.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? Because it's on the fly, man.
Yeah. It's the lack of like exposure to it, or like I mean I've watched comedy, but like the lack of doing it is just mad respect to it, and also I don't understand it that much. So every time like when we're doing, that's why I love when we do, dude. Could we freestyle? Like, could I beatbox for you, and then could you freestyle on this? Will these microphones be? Anyways, like the freestyling is like that's why it's like it's the combination. Yes, it's the combination of like that's like musical, but it's also like you taking your comedy and just your ability to like put words together. Like you're like that's I don't know. That's probably some of my happiest times on stage have been when I'm beatboxing, you're freestyling.
That means a lot.
It's just so like it's such an organic thing that's happening, and everyone can relate to it because you're just speaking. Like you're just using words and you're just telling jokes, and but it happens to be in a rhythm, which again everyone's in on the. Oh, maybe that's why I think freestyling is cool, as opposed to
everyone's in on it. That like it doesn't have to make sense.
I don't think rapping is that cool. I think freestyle rap is insanely cool, though.
What you're saying makes sense. Also controversial.
Yeah, right.
The fact
right.
that you're like you don't think that. Okay.
Yeah.
But
okay. So for example, Kendrick's music.
Yes.
I love Kendrick's music. Okay, Kendrick is great, and also Kendrick talks about like some really important stuff in his music. Pimp, T-Pab, like Damn, like really good albums. But you ever seen just Kendrick like fucking freestyle? Holy shit. Like that's some cool shit like that. Like I've never been more impressed with Kendrick than when he's freestyling. And it's probably not as good as his rapping in either of those albums that I said, but it's like it
makes sense,
the fact
dude.
that he's doing it on the spot.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's the on the spot fashion.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle's polished stand up set will always be superior than the greatest improviser's improv set because that took time. I mean, they're still great in their own facet, but still, objectively speaking, one took love, time, and care as opposed to the other one had the magic of being made in real time. So it depends on what perspective you see it from. What are you appreciating?
It depends on the perspective, because I'm like, if you took that improvised set that you were talking about, but you put it on Netflix and the person watching didn't know that was improvised, would they think it was good? I don't know if they would.
Watch this. There's a Netflix special called Schwartz and Middleditch, and it's these two very fantastic improvisers that recorded their set in a theater based off of an audience's story. They pull suggestions from that story and they do a 45-minute show from it.
Wow.
And if you were to just watch that without knowing that it was improvised, it would still be a very funny 45-minute play.
But if you knew it was improvised,
Which these audience members did.
like
They're
heightened.
nuts. They're like, where are you coming up with? Like, how did you make that connection? How did you do that? How did you know? And these are two dudes playing like multiple different characters in the same 45-minute set. You should watch it. I mean, if you are this intrigued by the beauty of improv and on-the-spot comedy, this is like, a lot of people say like, yeah, I love improv. I love Whose Line Is It Anyway. That's nice. That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. Yeah. But if you want, I will give you this one, which is like a higher leveled, you know, it's like Whose Line Is It Anyway is palatable. It's pop music.
Right.
Whose Line Is It Anyway is Katy Perry.
Yeah.
If you want something that's more so like, let's go with like D'Angelo.
Yeah.
But if you want something like a little more Lauryn Hill, let's go, or, you know, Chet
I
Baker.
got you. Erica Badu.
Yeah,
I
Erica
got
Badu.
you. Yeah.
Then I'll show you other things,
Yeah.
dude. When people are actually using the technical skills that they've learned, the theory, the science behind comedy improv, put it to use. That's what I could show you.
Netflix?
Netflix, Middleditch and Schwartz. Schwartz and Middleditch, I can't remember what it's called. But yes.
Hell yeah.
Do
Very nice.
you want to get to the freestyling?
Yeah.
Are you going to freestyle?
No.
Damn, that's it? Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Well, maybe if I get you comfortable enough, you might. All right, let's
Are you gonna do a random word generator, or do I give you a word?
you could give me a word.
See, like, so sometimes you ask me to do this, and the first word that always comes to mind is pizza. But like, we've already done. Probably a lot of the times when you've asked me to give you a word, I've said pizza. You can tell what's on my mind all the time.
Okay, what? It doesn't have to be pizza, or it could be pizza. I'll do whatever.
You know, this is like a raunchy podcast, so the first word that came to mind was masturbation.
Masturbation. All right, go ahead and
Masturbation?
beatbox for me. Yeah,
How should I beatbox? Like, just
that's fine.
Right here.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the master. I'm the master. Yeah. What's up? Master Asian, good at masturbation. I'm doing the calculations. 1 stroke, 2 stroke, 3 stroke, 4. What do I do? Do not open the door. You want more? Damn, girl, get over, you whore. That's really, really rude. I won't say it no more, but I watch videos when I masturbate. And I'm like a baby bird. I pre-masticate all my food when I feed my girl, cause it's easier for her to chew. Yeah, I like to be over here at the same time, girl, and I wanna just be with you. Take off your clothes, let's say yo. I wanna invite all the hoes and get in the room while we boom boom, get really high. We're gonna go get me some shrooms. We go take 1, then we like to take 2. My favorite color is purple and blue, cause I like to do that till my balls are blue. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go poo. Then I run to the toilet and I go sit down. I got the biggest Filipino dick in town. That's 4 inches. I got 4 bitches. I got to go chill and I sit on all the benches in the park. I'm dark. Boom, boom. Look like Tony Stark. I'm gonna go outside and I bark like a dog. Or I like to ribbit like a frog. You cannot see me if I'm chilling in the fog. Back to masturbation. I go to the hub. I like to take my pants down and I give it a rub. And I'm like, oh, I can't find the video. I'm like, damn, girl, let's go on to Vimeo, cause that's where I find the nice girls with the nice faces. I got nice teeth, never worn braces. Invisalign, so I got it nice. I like to eat apples with some fried rice. That's a weird combination. We're back to masturbation. I'm gonna do calculations and I happen to be Asian. I just use that rhyme scheme, but I do not even care. I like to go use some hair gel in my hair. I just say random words and I like to be fly as a bird. And I like to say things absurd. And I'm gonna say things really loud so I'm heard. And I don't wanna come first or second. I wanna come third. I wanna only 1 bullet when I touch myself. I like try to find porn mags over on the shelf. myself because I'm old school and I like to do it that way. And I'm like, ooh, I like to blah, 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 blah. I have no more words. Yeah. And that is freestyling, baby. And you happen to say out of pocket stuff when you have no filter.
Good job, man. God.
Martin, this has been really fun. I'm glad that I was finally able to sway you to do my podcast because I knew you're a good conversationalist. A good balance of being able to be silly and goofy and talk about some real stuff, which we did.
Dude, thank you for having me. This is wow.
Yes.
This is like a dream come true. I hear this a lot, so this is cool to be on this side of it. It's like
well,
kind of unreal. Yeah.
welcome, dude. And congratulations in the future to getting married. I'm also engaged, so we have that in common.
Yeah, man.
And I can't wait for your wedding. I can't wait to go to Vegas.
I can't wait for yours.
You're gonna have to wait a little bit because we got some planning to do,
right.
man.
Yeah,
but,
we'll go to Vegas for now, and
we'll party it up, dude.
Hell yeah.
But until then, one last thing I like to ask my guests is to look into their camera and leave the listeners with a piece of advice or just a saying.
Whew, dang. I teach high school. The first thing that came to mind was I teach high school seniors, and something that they kept saying while we were kind of getting ready for graduation was don't take things for granted because you never know when things are done. So enjoy what you got now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Baddies, you know where to find me. You can follow me on Instagram at Christian Has Asthma. Follow the podcast at ICBTB Podcast. Email us at icbtbpodcast@yahoo.com or check out our merch and all other things at icbtb.com.
It can't be that bad. Oh, it can't be that bad.
Oh, it can't be that bad. Oh, it can't be that bad. Oh, it can't be that bad. Can't be that bad. Oh.